It's talking about this one is number 5 is talking about computers, so technology, right? Technology here. So health technology, we have 2 already, main topics. So number 10 is education. Millions of people every year move to English-speaking countries, study school. The main topic here is education, So they're just going to repeat the same main topic in just a different form. Okay. So you don't need to worry about these topics. Why? Because these topics are really common. And we have listed down actually, we have listed down, you would find it in your ebook, okay, together with your topic specific vocabulary. Hold on, let me open mine. Okay. Let me open my ebook. So for those of you who don't have this book yet, I'll be giving it to you. I'll be saying it in. I will be sending it in our group. Hold on, wait. Files. Okay, let me share this one clear and then share. Okay, so this is the ebook.pdf file. It starts with listening, just a cover, but it's just listening tips. Okay, for those of you who open it already, it's just listening tips. And then speaking topics. Now, somewhere, okay, after that, speaking practice topics, and then somewhere in the middle, after your speaking questions, I think I forgot the page. It's somewhere in the middle. Here. Okay, there. So if you would notice, this is your topic specific vocabulary. Okay. And if you would notice, these topics are some of the most common topics that you'll be able to encounter in your IELTS exam. These are the topics that they're just going to branch out. Like what I mentioned earlier, education, media, work, money and finance, politics, healthcare, environment, and so on. You can also talk about travel, crime and the law, and so on. Science and technology, computers. Okay. Let me check. There's this one student who shared a recent topic as well. She took her test last week, I think. Hold on, let me find her topic. I think she sent a voice message. Okay, but let's see. Yeah, it was a voice message. I'll listen to it later and I'll update you. But there's another one 2 weeks ago. She also shared her topic. So her topic in her essay. Hold on. Would be okay. Some people believe giving gifts to family or friends is the way to show love and care for them. And then others think that there are better ways. So it's talking about family, right? So you can talk about, here, children in the family, right? Okay, because this is why, in order for you to improve your vocabulary, by the way, this is the point of your topic specific vocabulary, okay? Because no matter what topic you will get in your actual exam, these are the most common topics that you'll be able to encounter. Okay. So I have one more. I have one topic. I'll just need to look for it later and I'll update you. Okay. But this is the point. Okay. So once you've figured out, once you've finished education, for instance, now we're talking about vocabulary. So higher education, for example, mature students, okay, resit, the classes, What else? This one, numeracy is one of my favorite examples. Numeracy skills and literacy skills. Instead of explaining, children learn different basic subjects and mathematics. Instead of saying mathematics, you say numeracy skills, because you're not talking just only about mathematics. So also, science as well, but you can refer to them as literacy and numeracy skills. And that's it. So no matter what topic you would have in your essay, As long as you remember all of these words, because these are very common, the topics, predictable topics. Okay. That's it. Okay. So you can say, depending if you remember the topic that I have earlier. Nice to meet you. Okay, who's this? All right, but anyway, if you remember the topic that we had earlier, okay, we're in the one I have read. Most people giving gifts to express love to children and the family or to loved ones. So most you can say, this is out of the blue. I just thought of it. Most people, okay, tend to give gifts. Most parents reward their children, okay, based on the level of improvement when it comes to their numeracy skills and literacy skills. Okay, revealed during their, while they're studying, something related to that idea, rewarding system. Okay, and then instead of saying, having good grades, you can say improvement, great improvement when it comes to their literacy and numeracy skills. Or something. So this is the point. This is the point of this activity. Okay, as long as you keep on doing this activity, and you may have to write all of the words that you find interesting, then you won't have any problem whatsoever when it comes to adding and thinking about, let's say, the vocabulary words. Okay. Anyway, let's go back here. Okay, I still need to teach you the layout. Okay, but going back, this is the brainstorming. Okay, this is how you go into brainstorm. All right. If you still need it during brainstorming, I suggest you try first the one that I recommended earlier. You can check IELTSblog.com and then try and brainstorm all of the topics there and then compare your ideas, what you thought of, with their writing. You would find similar ideas, actually, and then it would greatly improve your brainstorming efficiency. Okay. After brainstorming, this is the time for you to start writing. Okay. So how will you start your discussion essays? Most of the time for your discussion essays, they're going to ask you to discuss two topics, two sides. All right. Okay, so in here, you just need to discuss both sides equally, and you have to have a minimum of 4 body paragraphs. 4 body paragraphs, minimum. Okay. First paragraph would be your introduction. Okay, by the way, if you need to add more paragraphs, okay, because sometimes the topics would give you 3 sides to talk about. Okay, then you can add more. But if not, then the minimum is 2. Okay, because you need to discuss both sides. Okay, so this is how you're going to do it. Your introduction, usually you would find 40 to 45 words here. And the first thing that you're going to do is you just need to paraphrase the topic. Okay, paraphrase the topic. Grab some of the ideas that you can think of or that you thought of from your brainstorming, the focal points, okay, together with the topic, and add your opinion. You can just add your opinion to that. Right? Now, sorry, not your opinion, add your ideas, I should say. Okay? Not your opinion. So you just need to paraphrase the topic. So if you're wondering how to paraphrase the topic, there are 3 methodologies when it comes to this. First one is by mentioning opinions. Okay, opinions related to most people or some people or other people or even your opinion. Okay, how can it start with most people believe, most people mention, most people start with, most people say that this topic and this topic, So let's just try and go back to happiness. Most people find happiness. Okay. Most people find happiness difficult to define. Okay, since this and that, this and that. Since everyone needs to express their individuality when it comes to how do you say it? When it comes to achieving definite happiness or definite being happy, being delighted, being elated. Most people are ecstatic, to know or ecstatic to find, or let's say doing these things, doing that, those, and so on. So you can start with most people, and then some people or other people, and then your opinion. Basically your opinion, basically as well, or other people's opinion. Okay, that's the first step when it comes to your introduction. Always paraphrase the topic. Make sure that the first sentence of your introduction is talking about the main point of your essay. So a good way for you to express that is by paraphrasing the topic. Okay. But going back to the three methodologies, first methodology, some, others, you, okay, opinions. Second methodology that you can use is by comparing places like here and elsewhere. All right. So here, what's happening here, and then what's happening elsewhere, other places, other countries, other cities, and so on. So most countries wherein people struggle to look for real happiness. Most cities, like for example, you can give examples. I'm not sure about cities, where or places as well. Okay, or you can start with most in most countries wherein people who live normal, simple lives tend to be happier compared to people who are living, the urban areas. So difference. You can mention, you can give comparisons as well. Most of the time, this is how it goes. When it comes to using here, the second methodology, here and elsewhere. You're comparing. Okay, this is the second methodology. The third methodology is by actually giving situations. What happened in the past, what happened in the present, like what we talked about earlier. Generation. Most people believe, or some people before used to believe that and achieving happiness only requires this much and this much. However, as of now, times have changed since most people, especially the younger generation, tend to be happy when this and that, and so on. So giving situations, right? So those are the three methodologies. After you paraphrase the topic, you just need to explain a little bit. You don't need to explain a lot of things here. Just mention and give a preview about two sides that you're going to talk about. So in this case, if you're going to go back to the topic that we have, okay, number 18. So the first side, so I'm going to paraphrase this. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase this. Happiness is considered very important in life. And then the first side that I need to talk about, why is it difficult to define? So I'll write P here, and then first side. Why is it difficult to define? And then second side, the factors. So I just need to explain a little bit, depending on your brainstorm ideas, you just need to explain a little bit, give a preview of what the examiner, what the reader would be reading, or everything related to your essay, what it will be all about, just to give a short preview and explain both sides. Most people think that the reason why it's difficult to define is because of individual of status or individuality. However, there are a few factors when it comes to, there are a few factors that are essential or important, especially when achieving one's, happiness. You say, something. Okay. So this is how you're going to do it. Paraphrase the topic. This is a topic. Happiness is considered very important. Paraphrase that by one of the three methodologies, and then just give a preview about the first side and the second side. Okay, and that's it. You're done. You're done with your introduction. You don't need to explain a lot of things here, okay? Because the role of your preview, or the role of your introduction, is to just give a preview of what you're going to write. Okay, now going back. This time after that, okay, after you're done your introduction, you don't need to give your opinion here, like I think, I believe. You don't need to add that. Okay, you don't need to choose as well. Okay, choose sides. So just give a short explanation about both sides. You can give your opinions later in your conclusion. You can choose one side as well in your conclusion. All right. Okay, so this is your introduction. Now this time, your second and third paragraph. This is where you're going to think about, or you're going to include and write your essay. So first side, talk about the first side here. You can mention if you brainstormed about advantages, disadvantages, or you thought about the problem solutions, or pros and cons, positives, negatives, or the questions. This is where you're going to put it. Okay. Most particularly for number 18, it's asking about two questions. So you're going to put the first side here and the answers to those questions here. Okay. It's not limited. discussion essays is not limited to advantages, disadvantages only. You can mention problem solutions as well, okay, or some of these areas. Okay, you're going to write your first side here and then the second side, usually around 100 words for each paragraph. Okay, sometimes as well there would be only they're specific, like what we talked about earlier as well, if you remember. Number 20 says here, many countries, so what you think are the causes and then what solutions? So problem solutions. Since it's talking about these and it's only talking about one side to talk about, then you're just going to divide, your paragraphs by talking about the causes in your second paragraph and then solutions in your third paragraph. There are some instances as well like this, okay, where it's going to give you one specific information to talk about, and you just need to explain, the causes and solutions. So going back here, in your layout, you're going to mention the problems here. Mention everything related to problems, as long as this is what you need to focus, because this is what they're asking from you. You can also mention some advantages and disadvantages, as long as you focus on answering the problems first, the causes, and then you're going to mention the solutions, the possible solutions here. There are a few possible solutions when it comes to this problem. Firstly, first to begin with, and so on. Just list everything. Okay, so this is how you're going to write your body paragraph. Make sure that the first sentence of your body paragraph, okay, should contain the main idea of the whole paragraph itself. So going back to happiness, difficult to define. That's the first question. So my first sentence in my second paragraph is, most people, believe that defining real happiness, achieving happiness would depend on everyone's opinion. Okay. The reason why it is hard to define is because, and so on. That's the first sentence. That's my first sentence, and it's giving off the main topic. Okay. After that, following sentences would be supporting opinions. Okay. And then somewhere in the middle, you just need to end, your idea. So at least it will be easier for you to try and arrive at a short conclusion related to that topic. Overall, people tend to find real happiness as long as depending on how perspective, I should say, how different perspectives. And that's it. That's your end of your second paragraph, and then same in your third paragraph. Okay. Now moving on. This time for your conclusion. Usually your conclusion is only around 30 to 35 words long. And what would happen here is you're just going to squeeze your body paragraph, second paragraph and third paragraph, you're just going to combine them, just to summarize them in 2 to 3 sentences. And this is the time for you to give your opinion or choose sides. Overall, I believe that a lot of people are having a hard time defining happiness because of its constant hunger for this and so on. Okay, the drive. So depending on your ideas, okay, this is where you're going to choose sides. Make sure that it's shorter than your introduction as well. This is a must. Okay, this is part of the modern layout. The modern layout is requiring you to follow this layout basically. Okay, and make sure that your introduction and then your conclusion. Yes.
Excuse me. Yeah, I got a call from company. I need to go.
No problem. No problem, Mr. Lagovir.
So kindly send me that link, sir, for that mock test.
Okay. Okay, no problem. No problem.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a nice time.
All right, Mr. Lagovir. All right. Enjoy your evenings. Okay, but going back to the rest of you this time, so it will be like this. Okay, this is your modern layout. This is the layout that these examiners are looking for. Okay, so any questions?
Chris, you said that we need to explain the causes in paragraph 2 in our body and the solutions in paragraph 3. Is it possible if we explain one cause in paragraph 2, along with it, we explain the solution for that cause? Like in one paragraph, the solution and the cause. Both. Can we explain like this?
Actually, okay, if you're going to do that, then it will be confusing. Okay, why? The reason is because then your two body paragraphs would lose their how do you say, their purpose. Because if you're going to do that in your second paragraph and do that same thing in your third paragraph, then why not just combine them together?
Oh,
Okay, but the thing here is, it would be really long. 200-word paragraph.
Mhm.
Let's say it will be really long. So it's confusing, not only for you as well, but for the examiners. Okay, so it's much better actually to just divide them into two paragraphs, even if you can address, just mention the problems, for example, mention some of the problems. You don't need to mention some solutions to that yet. You can mention those in your third paragraph. Then it would make sense, basically. Okay.
We need to interconnect